G'day, ZiggyD here, and today I want to share with you guys a bit of a Path of Exile resource that's sort of just cropped up over the past week or so, and is starting to, show some real promise and something that I think can be pretty helpful for you guys. The site is Exile Pro. Now it's a cursed site, and it's very similar to, if you come from the League of Legends community, to LOL Pro, which was a sort of a build site that only allowed high-level players to submit builds to, and people could go and check out those builds, and it had a lot of detail and things like that. I understand, I'm not in the League of Legends community myself, but I understand it's a fairly popular site for that reason. And Exile Pro has been created with cursed sites in conjunction with Kripparrian and a few other people who are also submitting build guides and things like that to make this good solid build resource that is exclusive to sort of high-level proven builds, and also it has some other pretty cool tools that I want to show off. So the first thing is obviously the builds, and this is the main part of the site. It's the main purpose of the site. As I was saying, the builds that are on the site are only limited to people that are considered, high-level players that have these well-proven builds that they've worked out. So we've got people like Kripparrian, Morse, and Infalesco, who are all very well known for their, for their high-level builds and, for making builds that simply work in endgame maps. So the problem with the forums and other build sites is that they're open to submission for pretty much any old build, and that means you can get builds that sort of just might not work in the end game, like untested, unproven builds that seem interesting, but just might not be super effective. So if you're looking for an effective build made by someone who is a min-maxer, then this is a pretty good resource for that. Now I'll just show you guys how this sort of the site actually works in terms of builds, because it's got a pretty interesting setup. First off, you've got it shows off the basics, and it talks about the overall ideas of the builds, and shows off the skills, including what level you should take each skill to. So these are all level 20, but if, for example, you only wanted to keep double strike to level 5 to reduce the mana requirements, then it would list level 5 there. So that's pretty handy, and as you click through each one of those tabs and load up the page, it's a little bit slow on loading, I noticed, but you sort of have to take the good with the bad. It's got a build summary and links to the passives, shows off all of the gems, all of the items that you sort of use, and what you use in those items in terms of links. So here's a link to the examples of the items used by Infalesco, and what he'd want to go for and what items he recommends. So it's pretty cool. And then there's even a tactics section that explains the operandus motus, or something like the way that you operate the actual build when you play. So that's all pretty interesting. Another pretty good tool is something that's happened on a few sites now, but it's a dev tracker. Dev tracker is always really good if you want to keep up with the the real cutting edge information from the developers that are posted on the forum. It's pretty hard to actually go through the forums and find all of the posts by developers, but if you go here, everyone that's listed here has had a developer post in here, so you can go straight to the developer post in that forum and read a bit about it. So I like to check this out, once or twice a day, just to make sure that, anything interesting's happened. Like, for example, through this yesterday, I found out some information about what's coming up with Cyclone, how Cyclone's going to work. Like, for example, I know that Cyclone is affected by move speed because I've been following this dev tracker. So that's a pretty awesome tool as well. The last one that I really like, and I've really been waiting for a web version of this, is a build summary. So there's been these build calculators and build summary tools that you can download and install on your computer, but I wanted one that I could do just in a web setting. So basically, I've got my Cleave Templar build that I've been working out here for the 1 week race. I've sort of planned that to pretty much endgame. And, I think this looks pretty good and pretty efficient, and I've got all the nodes I think I'll need. But it's pretty hard work to go through and calculate each life node, each mana node, all of those different things. But if you just chuck it in this build summary and click on calculate, it not only shows you the nodes that you've picked up through all of that, but also gives you a summary, like adding everything up. So it gives you your main stats that you've gotten extra. It gives you your all of your life stats, so your life regen 4.1%, 191% increased maximum life, 60 maximum life, and then regen per endurance charges. So I know, alright, my life's looking pretty good for this. I was hoping for somewhere around 200% maximum life, but 191% is pretty good with 4.1 regen, so that feels pretty solid. It's also got some information on your mana, your elemental damage, your lightning damage, resistances. It's great for calculating out your resistances, I've found, so I know what all my resistances will be at endgame. just from passive. So it's pretty awesome tool like that. And in addition to that, you know, it has some sort of basic rudimentary forums and also links to the streams, which are, you know, like Kripparrian and sort of his buddies that all stream together. So overall, it's a pretty good site. I highly recommend you guys check it out. As you can see here, pretty useful stuff. The build calculator alone, the build summary tool, I'll be using a lot, I'm pretty sure. So I have this site bookmarked. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.